I'm doing fine. How you doing, Miss Gabriel? Excellent, dear.
We're going to be starting and we're going to ask the people in the L atrium to come over. And if you're on the wellness van, to come on in so we can get started. I have the extreme honor and pleasure of welcoming you this morning to the 5th annual Our Lives, Our Stories African American Women's Health Conference. On behalf of the Legacy Board of Directors, the staff, the volunteers, we welcome you and want you to feel at home. This is a conference, well, first of all, how many of you, this is your first time ever being with us? First time. Give yourself some love if you're a first timer. If you've been to other conferences, this one is a little bit different. This is basically a family meeting. We want you to feel relaxed at home and comfortable. I truly believe that you're here today, you're not here by accident. You're people that make a tremendous difference in your homes, in your communities. How many of you know women are the gatekeepers for health in their families? Y'all know that? If you don't know that, have you bugged your man lately about going to the doctor, getting his blood pressure checked, getting necessary tests? All right. But we do that because we love, right? And this is a conference that is really designed for you. How many of you, this is your first time to Shawnee campus, or you haven't been here lately? Okay, just a few housekeeping things. You've probably already figured out that we had breakfast and health exhibits in the part of the building that's called the L atrium. I know there were several people that wanted screenings, and I'm glad we had so much demand. So what we're going to do is keep the van here longer. And if you did not get a chance to get screened earlier, then during the breaks, during lunchtime, we'll keep it here all day to make sure that you can get your health screenings. So I did want to let you know that. The restrooms for the ladies and the very cool men that are here to my left. This conference started in 2006 At that time, our company was Chambers and Associates, which is actually still alive and well. And we were one of 4 agencies in the United States that were awarded a contract. And we were charged with several things. That it needed to be culturally specific, it needed to be gender specific, it needed to speak to the spiritual and traditions of the communities we serve. So of the 4 grantees, we applied for African American, because last time I checked, I'm an African American woman. I'm like, I can do that. I can do that one. And 3 of my colleagues, one was a Native American, one was a Latina, and the other group was also African American, but they did theirs in Washington, D.C. We were the only one at that time that was awarded for rural America. So give yourself some love for that. So for 2 years, we had funding from the Office on Women's Health, and after that, they redirected the funding and we weren't funded anymore. And I had so many of you ask about the conference. And I was like, I ain't got no money, I'm tired, I'm working too much. You know how we whine. Whenever I whine, y'all just offer me cheese to go with it. So long story short, I'm very pleased to say that through God's grace and mercy, this is the 5th one, and we raise it for the vendors. So give y'all some love for being here and vendors. And all of the wonderful folks that you see in your conference booklet. So I always ask every year to tell those people thank you, because without them there would be no conference. We're also pleased this year to have a first ever platinum sponsor, 77 Health Department, through their Heart Truth program, which is federal funding that they were awarded. Can I ask my friends at 77 to please stand so we can acknowledge you? We're so glad, our first time ever partnering, so we're so glad that Nancy, Trish, and also Tracy, you didn't stand, but Tracy is working with 7 as an intern. My last bit of housekeeping is we have these beautiful hot pink forms, your evaluation forms. We're going to give them to you at the end. If for any reason you have to leave, please ask us. We really need to collect some information so we can continue to make the evaluation piece strong, so we'll know exactly what your needs are and how we should plan the conference each year. So it's very important that we get these. When you give us this, we will give you a ticket for these wonderful door prizes that we have. And there's more than too many, I can't even get on the table. So that's a little incentive for us to do the evaluation at the end. Jensen, where are you, Jenny? Jensen just gave some of you a form called a photo consent form. We will be, with your permission, taking pictures that we may post in our newsletter and on the website and for publicity purposes. If you have a big problem with your picture being taken, you don't feel obligated to sign that and let us know, and we'll make sure we don't use your pictures. But if you would, you're all so beautiful in your reds and your blues and white and all the different colors. But if you would give us that permission, we would appreciate that. I'd like to also acknowledge our board of directors. I'm going to start first with my husband, Robert Ketchens, who is the co-founder of Legacy Training and Development. Legacy is our marriage. We promote health and we expand the arts. So that's what we do together as a team. Carolyn Dumas is also a board member. And she's running around somewhere, but Stephanie Fisher is also a board. Is she here yet? Okay, well, Stephanie Fisher is our board member. Our legacy team. Yeah. And Stephanie also always does our decorations and millions of other things, and found Sheffy, who you guys are just going to be delighted by. Jamaica Hilliard is our program assistant. Romello Orr is one of our seeds. How many weeks ago was it? 3 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago? Seeds came into our life. We had 48 hours to recruit 25 young people from Alexander and Pulaski County and find places for them to work for 7 weeks. And we're processing payroll and doing all kinds of things. And in 48 hours, we pulled it together. And so can I ask all of the Seeds team to please stand? Come on, Steve. The crowd, yeah, yeah. So if there are any Seeds team, Dinah Nelson and Alexis Blake actually work in the Legacy office. There they are, yeah. So you'll know the ones that work with me because they look the most tired. That's always an indicator if you work with me. So if you have any questions, any needs, any of these folks, we should have staff tags on, but any of these folks will be happy to accommodate you. I want to acknowledge a very cool friend who's been just an amazing supporter in the back, who's doing our videotaping. Mr. Vernon Stubblefield is here, a major community leader in Carroll. So with that, I hope that this is a wonderful day for you, and we're going to continue on with our program. You will notice in your program, and ideally you should have gotten a conference bag with the conference book. I have the pleasure of bringing to you from the St. John Praise and Worship Center, Where Love Comes First. I can't sing, but if I did, I'd be dangerous. The Cara Dance Ministry. The Cara Dance Ministry started in January of 2012 with 4 women of God. The group got its name from the Hebrew word Cara, which is pronounced as Kara. I'm sorry, I just blew that. The meaning of Kara is to bow down, to bend, to kneel in reverence. The purpose of the dance ministry is to praise and worship God, facilitate deliverance, and minister to and to exhort and encourage others through dance as willing vessels. I asked them specifically to minister to us the theme. The theme is Open My Heart. And this year, the conference is dedicated to you. This is a heart-to-heart conversation about how to keep your heart healthy. So without further ado, I give you the Cara Dancers. Legacy Training and Development Corporation was honored and privileged to do this year is we worked with Meridian and Century, much more with Meridian this year, and we established a group called the A-Team. What we did with the young folks is train them to be ambassadors for arts in the community. They worked hard and put together a conference called Art Unveiled. And I'd like to introduce to you the president of the A-Team from Meridian High School, Ms. Devonay Mayburn. Devonay is also a SEEDS staff member as well.
Good morning to all of you. It's nice to see you all. I will be introducing Samuel Hawkins. Samuel Hawkins is also known as Snacks. There's a colorful story behind that, but he's a poet, performer, and educator. With over 300 live performances with crowds reaching 3,000 in attendance, Mr. Hawkins is no stranger to the stage or classroom. As well as performing original pieces of spoken word poetry, he has conducted several poetry workshops across the state of Kentucky. Mr. Samuel Hawkins.
Devonay, so sweet. Give a hand to Devonay for a wonderful introduction. Oh man, I love that dance. Man, don't be shy if you liked it. That I like the open. Make sure I get this right. The open heart theme. I'm really feeling that. Please implore you to keep your hearts open during this entire segment. Please do. So I'm gonna have fun. There we go. I need all my hands. I need full movement. Anyway, I'm gonna do 3 poems, and the name of this first poem is called Rise, and it just pays homage to 4 little girls and what they did, what they were forced to do, and why Black women should remember that with every action that they do. And within the poem, I just want to encourage all of you to uplift not only each other, but accept yourself and uplift yourself and leave your gavels at home, because when you're judging somebody else, you're just judging yourself. Anyway, I implore everybody to rise. Your heart's voice is sea. Rolling these thoughts like that moonshine, tugging tides, rise. Like praying hands, calling falling stars from the other side, finding nullified lullabies buried beneath a church basement, burning, breathing flames, swirling the signature of 4 little girls' names, slain September 16, 1963, but not in vain. Mistaken martyrs, a part of a necessary picture. So young ladies, think twice before you think you have to take suggested pictures, naked to make it, innocence taken, heart breaking into pieces. Release this popular persona of the video girl, home to your insecurities of what you truly aspire to be. Like a pestering poltergeist, my advice, stop shaking like dice and speaking up like mice, and don't you forget, don't you ever forget the names of those that weren't given the dignity to be coerced, but were rather forced to sacrifice. But you are beautiful, all of you, and you should embrace that. The pucker of your lips and the curve of your hips can transfix the eye of time, but you, Black women, are perpetually powerful when you utilize your mind, so rise. Like an 1864 southern summer sun, in a sometimes weary but gracious morning, mimicking your angelic fingertips, birthing the sun of freedom, warm, burning, beautiful and bright, you bittersweet color of coffee and of night. Your pupils, your beautiful pupils, carry constellations for shackled slaves, searching southern trenches, surviving ash-stricken earth, southern lynches longing, liberties lingering, withering finger pointing northward to a glorious destination. And yet, Post-emancipation, we are still facing segregation within our nation's oh so sufficient, no child left behind, man, kiss my black behind style of education. Listen, I wrote a sociology paper on this. Listen. Advanced placement courses reinforces and further endorses the separation within a race in relation to the socioeconomic status and strata of minority families. And for those that haven't navigated the neurons of sociology 101 and can't quite understand me or don't want to, or if I'm speaking too fast, quite frankly, we need to challenge all of our children and make sure that all of our children are wielding the proper reading and comprehensive tools conducive to the grade level, because we are quick to go overseas to watch children people teach about to read. I get too excited. I get passionate about it. So we are quick to quarrel overseas and watch our children bleed before we teach them how to read. But I can see you, like I can see Harriet Tubman with a revolver and her stars guiding her. I can see you with your pens, pencils, and teachers leading this future. So dream huge and tell this world to make room and show it why the caged canary can carry a tune like Maya Angelou and Sing Me Home. Nikki Giovanni, yes, Sing Me Home. Gwendolyn Brooks, Sing Me Home. Billie Holiday, Sing Me Home. Aretha Franklin, Queen of Soul, yes. You better sing me home because your heart's voice, yes, is C. Rolling these thoughts like that moonshine, tugging tides. Don't be afraid to tell these little girls to rise. That poem is definitely, it's encourage you to speak positive to our young girls. And this next one, I love performing this one, but it's called Something I'll Never Tell My Daughter. And whether we like it or not, society is speaking to our young girls. And you either agree or you disagree. If you're apathetic, you agree. You have to make a stand. And I say I have a fear of having kids. People are like, oh, you want to do what you want to do? I'm like, no, it's just, I don't know how to compete and try to, I just want to give them a fair shot, you know what I mean? And I mean, I still have so much other stuff. Like just a simple thing within this poem is very satirical, but I'm saying be okay with rape jokes. That kind of stuff never happens to good people. And the thing is, I mean, even a simple show like Family Guy, I mean, it does rape jokes all the time. And you really got to pay attention to what society is telling your kids and what is okay, what is not, what you care about. And the poem will speak for itself. Something I'll never tell my daughter. And before they grew up, we told them, Rolls Royce, Swish, a supermodel's lips to kiss, to sleep, the silence that never told you, you, yes, you dear, are at the center of it all. When we tell our little girls, you are at the center of it all, we spoil them rotten like presidential politics, but let's look good. Church looks good. Let's do church and ear hustle. Verses from the Bible contrary to our culture and never follow it, because religion is easy. Relationships are hard. Relationships eat time. God wants a relationship. Don't have time for God. Time is money, and money can buy you more stuff you don't need, like eyeliner. Always need, give to. Remember, honey, time is money. Don't go across seas and help young sick orphans to waste time like that. It's elementary Reaganomics. Devour desires that fill you empty, like a saltwater sandwich or diet pills for the famished. You know what? You need attention. Get attention. Wear something outlandish. Wear words across the bottom of your butt like a bumper sticker now. Half naked your wardrobe, it's time for your Facebook picture. Oh, honey, don't do that. Don't knee lift your dress. You need the young boys to be impressed. Expose the side and the tops of your breasts. Wear less and tighten your pants like misogyny's grip on the neck of respect. You don't need respect. You need boys to like you. Want boys to like you. Be a cheerleader. Like a cheerleader. Never stop smiling. Never wipe that smile off your face with a bib you never neck release because you're still eating. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, ding. Oh, you're not hungry? Well, eat so you're never hungry. Never suffer like an AIDS orphan. Date a star athlete and explode his endorphins on your chest while cracking a photo frame holding daddy's little girl. You're not a little girl. You're 20. 16 isn't young. You look like a woman. You must be a woman. You're a woman. Be sexy. Be desirable. Be a fancy bra and a matching pair of panties. Be okay with rape jokes. That kind of stuff never happens to good people. Be a good person. Wear your porcelain smile. Cross your legs and look beautiful like a statue. No, honey, don't do that. Don't pluck my heart's guitar strings with a poem. Statues don't write. They look beautiful. Don't breadwin relationships. Statues don't work. They look beautiful. Don't petition to reduce rape in our military. Statues don't stand up for themselves. They look beautiful. Don't dream like the moon during noon. Statues don't move forward with ambition. They look beautiful. Now talk less and smile more. No, bigger. Bigger than the tanks of tears and opinions you swallowed unchewed, but never become unglued. Have it together. Have it all together. Statue smile forever. Time is money. And I don't have time to talk and tell you I love you, but I will tell you this. Date that fun guy that thinks you're hot, but don't eat too many books, or your weight scales may swell like eyes during domestic conflicts. Don't make him mad. Keep daddy happy. Daddy wants dinner by 6. Don't play tricks on your confidence. You need makeup. You need makeup to overcast the sunsets between your cheeks. Rembrandt couldn't capture with his brush, but your brush will do. Are you still smiling? Are you still smiling like a pastor after offering? Did you see Victoria's Secret's new line? You need to buy it. You need to buy it what the lascivious debauchery silk commercials are fostering. Wow. What? Lascivious? Debauchery? Honey, don't look up big words. Statues don't need to understand. They look beautiful. What are you talking about? Now I need you skinny. No, skinnier. No, skinny. A size 1, size 0, size invisible. Pregnancy is no excuse. Gene pool is no excuse. Personal acceptance of your body is no excuse. I know I said eat, but either skip lunch or abort your last meal like a back alley baby beckoning for a life and never asked to have. You're 14 is awfully young for a child to have a child. I'll tell you what, let's cheat. Let's cheat and treat it like your last meal. An inconvenience. Let the doctor rip memories from the future. You can't kill what doesn't exist. PTSD is a myth, and don't reconsider. Get the abortion, because statues don't think they look beautiful. Now go back to your room and change, because your shorts aren't short enough. Come on, honey, short. I need to see them shorter. Come on, short. I need to see more legs like a KFC basket. Come on, honey, short. Shorts like tempers when you deny demons access to your temple, because it's quite simple, sweet pea. Don't cause a fuss. Don't cause a fuss like Rosa Parks. No. Don't cause a fuss like Harriet Tubman, talked about her earlier. No, don't cause a fuss like my sister. Don't cause a fuss like Newtown mothers. You need boys to like you, darling. Don't restitch the fabric of history. Statues do not change the world. They look beautiful. You need to be a statue. Statues aren't beautiful. They look beautiful. Thank you. What are we looking at? I forgot to look. How much time I got?
How much time can you do one?
Well, I'll bet one more. Okay, yeah, definitely gotta do this. Definitely gotta do this. This is like, man, I want to get this one out. I was gonna do 2 more. Okay. Dang it. I don't know what to choose from. All right, this one it's called Rippling Sunshine. It basically pays homage to what women have done. It just asks you to. It's not trying to make a choice for you. I watched a movie with, I forgot who it was. It was Julia Roberts, and she was teaching her students to make a choice. And one student was like, "I want to be a stay-at-home mom." She's like, "What are you doing?" She got mad. She's like, "No, you told me to choose, and this is what I choose." But it doesn't matter what you choose. You know, if you want to dance, you go whatever they want to do. But just make sure you're making that choice. You're actually cognitively making that choice of what you want to do. You know, don't just get caught up in the web of what the world expects of you. Make that choice yourself. And it's Rippling Sunshine. An epic history, muddled with misery, caressed by visions of victory, not all lives are allowed to see from. The senseless, unrecorded on the census, spousal-induced injuries to the words of Maya Angelou rising like dust within the resurrected rib cages and spirits of men, women, and children, providing perpetual energy. Opening, hearts like Morning curtains casting light on this nation's many atrocities burning beneath the embers of infamy. Unfairly spoken from the shadow-laced lips of femininity's enemies. And not just what they said in my sociology textbooks, rich white men like most minorities. This self-deprecating disrespect is derived from an internal entity where you ignore responsibility and drown your dreams beneath the reach of your ambition's distillery, brewing beauty, castrating complacency, cultivating confidence through the hallways of your radiant seas, buried beneath the soil of your soul, begging for birth, anxious to rise above the earth of your eyes like wildflowers, clutching the skeletal remains of an abandoned factory. Do you not know from whence you came? Young ladies, it does not take physical change to constrain your liberties. Your voice gives birth to a choice to choose the identity. To choose your identity. So swivel your thoughts and pay attention to the talk tendencies of the social media industry. You are more than the size of your mammary glands. And even though you are women, so naturally you think in reason and mystic methods as a man I will never truly understand, but you can still have ambition. You can still have dreams. You can still have goals, or you can choose not to. But the speed in which you can make your gluteus maximus move does not mark your maximum potential. These are not the most essential credentials you are meant to cling to and embrace. So before I leave this mic right now, let me leave you with a question. Seriously, would you add brushstrokes to a masterpiece? Yes or no? Yeah, so it doesn't matter how much makeup you plaster on your face or how much weave you wear in your hair. What you look like on the outside has nothing to do with being beautiful. That mirror, reflecting an image viewed as truth, cannot give an accurate depiction of who you are. And that voice, whispering darkness behind your future slips, suggesting seductive sentiments, encouraging incongruous body modifications irrelevant to the benevolent beauty God hides and seeks within your soul. It's not yours. That voice is not yours. You always were. All of you. You always were and will be. Good enough. Never unworthy. Never below the expectations of greatness. Never less. Do more. When an unforgiving world threatens to omit your dreams and implode your wells of shimmering wishes, be allergic to no. It was always yes. Catch vertigo, high hopes, as if it's a fresh start for the first time. Imagine infinite. Anything is possible if you can illustrate the image in your mind. Your existence is necessary and miraculous. You were meant to be. And I can see your grandmother's grandmother smiling the sunrise beneath your dreams' horizons. So before you shake your tail feathers like male peacocks while the beat rocks, stop and ask this question. Who are you gratifying? Who are you satisfying? The voices that curse your existence or the voices that lifted you, that gifted you infinite opportunities by means of sacrifice and undying persistence? Will you listen to the voices, or will you pull triggers executing a respect women have died for? Because your past is on her knees like a pre-executed Jew praying Holocaust horrors on her lips, begging that you will remember her. Will you remember her? Or will you pull triggers executing a respect women have died for? Because your history is not barren like the breath of yesterday's broken promises, limping through lungs, wheezing, withering songs unsung, like starving children. Mouths were open, voices pleading, souls bleeding, hearts exploding through throats like the birth of a son, and like a triggerless gun. Still to this day, right now, this hour, young girls disappear within the realms of the sex trade, and the daily violence invokes a tear swallowing silence. Women have become a global commodity, and it's a huge problem if it just bothers me. So no, this poem isn't just for the ladies. This is for the fathers and the fathers to be. Can you see those tired arms reaching, beating the gates of a glass ceiling, climbing a ladder absent of rungs? But sorrow is not the song that I hear. It's not. Victims is not the image that appears within the echoes of my eyes. I see light held together by faith, rippling like halos. So please, listen to their songs, and let's not pull triggers executing a respect women are dying for.
Now,
the rest of the day, or you got to leave? Okay. I know you will, would like an opportunity to talk to that young man and bring him to your school, your church, your sorority, your fraternity, whatever, because he definitely has a message. Can we once again acknowledge him? There were a couple of other A-team members here. Is Saran here? Are there other members of the A-team that I failed to acknowledge? If you were an A-team member again, please stand up, because this was part of our ambassadors that worked with Samuel. And we hope to do that project again in March of this year. Samuel, if you're available, I'm going to book you now to come back to Meridian to do that. With that, I have the pleasure now of introducing another Seeds team member, but we've also worked on another project together. She's one of my sojourners. We did a project several years ago to educate women about HIV/AIDS using an intergenerational approach. And the basic thing that we learned through that project is all of us pretty much have the same sex education. Don't do it ever, amen. Well, how many of you know that doesn't really work? So with that, we wanted to break down the doors of silence and help mothers and grandmothers and aunties and all those folks that we trust in our life talk to our young people about HIV/AIDS prevention. And Renisha is very special, very courageous, and I love her dearly. I love all y'all, by the way. Don't get me in trouble here. But she has just, and if you want to share whatever you would like to share about that as you come forward and introduce Dr. Jones.
Office of Women's Health. She oversees the Illinois Breast and Cervical Cancer Screening Programs. Wise Women, can you hear me? Yes. Hear me now? Dr. Brenda Jones is the Deputy Director, MCH, Title V Block Grant Director of the Illinois Department of Public Health, Office of Women's Health. She oversees the Illinois Breast and Cervical Cancer Screening Programs, Wise Women, Heart Health, MCH Title V Grant Block Planning Title T. Dr. Jones is a registered professional nurse who has focused 24 years of her healthcare career in the areas of women and children's health. She began her career as a labor and delivery nurse in 1991. She went on to become a women's health nurse practitioner. She also worked within the Department of Defense as a nurse consultant for Army, Child, Youth, and Family Services. She went on to hold positions as the Director of Women's Health Care and Health Science from Nova Southeastern University in 2008, focusing her research on current safety. In 2012, Dr. Jones received the March of Dimes Nursing Excellence Award. Network also award for starting an innovation teen pregnancy clinic in the Chicago-Rosemary area. In 2020, she was selected as a women's health care provider, educational consultant in Georgetown, Guam. Services to women. Dr. Jones is married and also has 3 grown children and attend nationwide jazz concerts. Introducing Ms. Dr. Jones.
Give her a hand of applause, please. I had too much on there and I was too embarrassed to say, give it to me, I can get it from here. Good morning, everyone. Ooh, that was good. So today I want to thank, first of all, Lynn and her husband for this amazing conference. I really just want to sit and observe. I really don't even want to speak. That dance, because praise and worship, I go to church for praise and worship. I am a worshiping person. So let's give God a hand. Come on, you're not giving it to me, give it to me. That's what I'm talking about. So today, we're coming to talk about our lives, our stories. We're coming to hear from someone, Mrs. Willie Harganet. Are you here in the room? Mrs. Harganet is going to talk, there you go. She's going to talk about her transplant history, and I cannot wait to hear about that. And she has a story. We heard from Samuel Hawkins. Amazing. Amazing. How many know how important spoken word is? Words can hurt and they can build us. And so having youth be able to say some of the things that he, and that we say all the time anyway, is unbelievable. Unbelievable. I'm so inspired by you, Samuel. I really am. And then we're going to hear from Chef E, and I don't know if he's in yet. Okay, so good, I can talk. Chef E will offer us alternatives on how to eat better, how to eat food to live and not to die. But I want to say this while he's not here because I'm embarrassed about it, but this is my first time south. Before this time, I thought Springfield was actually south. I'd never been down this far. So one of the things we wanted to do, my husband and I, before we go back is be bad and go to Sweetie Pies, I believe it is. Look at this one. It's bad, yeah, so I'm going to be bad before I go home because I'm down this far, I might as well. So today we want to hear, and everyone has a story. And I want to tell you and inspire and tell you about my story and how I've gotten to where I've gotten thus far. And it is only by the grace of God that this has happened. I've been with the Illinois Department of Public Health for 10 months. And I can tell you, maybe 15, 16 years ago, the person that was over the program, I actually called and just said, I just want to volunteer. I just love women and children so much. Can you just find something for me to do? Well, they never called back. And who would think that now, 15 years later, I am sitting in that seat? That is nobody but God. I don't know anybody. I don't have friends. In fact, I knew no one from the state. And if you know how state politics works, that's highly unusual. People are still saying, who you know? I don't know. I tell you what I do know is this one. And with him, all things are possible. My office went from 2 programs, which was Illinois Breast and Cervical Cancer Screening, and a cohort of women from that program we call Wise Women. And so we work on those 2. But our director actually got programs that they've been trying to get over for maybe 12 or 13 years for the maternal child, and it happened while I was in the office. So now I not only have those 2, I actually now have maternal child family planning, teen pregnancy, and I love pregnant teens. All of these programs now sit in the shop, so you will see more of me down here. Disparity and health equity are definitely my love and my passion. So today we're telling our stories. You know, and I know it's about heart, and I understand that, Lynn, but telling our stories, as Samuel also alluded to, It's a future gift for next generation. Don't be ashamed of who and what you are. We've experienced so many things, and then we get to the other side and we become holy, self-righteous, and we don't want to reach back and help. We need to tell our women and our girls our story. Telling our stories is not an end in itself, but an attempt to release ourselves from them, to evolve and to grow beyond them. We tell our stories to transform ourselves, to learn about history, and tell our generations about the broader perspective of the world. And we don't use it to imprison or enslave us. We use it for spiritual and earthly potential. We need to tell our story. And the reason why it's so important is because how many of you know what infant mortality is? So infant mortality is the rate of death for children that are a year and under. African American women are 2.5 times, or our children are 2.5 more times than whites, babies that are dying. And so we have to do something about this. We have to be so much more supportive and proactive. Obesity. African Americans are more likely than whites in the United States to be obese, a condition that increases the chance of developing health problems. And I'm a work in progress. I stand before you not saying I have it mastered. How many of you know when it's working and running around that it's hard to eat right? But it's also hard to eat right when you don't have healthy places in your community. So that's another issue. Food deserts, not having the right place to eat. We suffer with cardiovascular disease more than 40% greater than Caucasians. This is a problem because we have got to figure out a way to eat healthy and take care of ourselves. Now today, as a nurse, I'm going to talk about high blood pressure because that is one of the greatest indicators of your heart health and how it is important. And I'm going to tell you, in reading this presentation, because we got it from the American Heart, I learned so much from this presentation. And this presentation, I'm hoping, will also give you some information. So we're going to go over the problem and the health impact, current guidelines, and I'm going to skip the public health approach because I know I see the time man back there, and then the resources that are available for you. So this is just a quick review. Blood pressure is determined by the amount of blood your heart pumps and the amount of resistance to blood flow in your arteries. Systolic blood pressure, which is that top number, the 130, some of you might have it higher, might be 160, 180. But this heart squeezes to pump blood is your top number. And diastolic is your bottom number. And this is when the heart is relaxed. Now the indication is your arteries are like this. They start out very open. And so how many know when water goes through a pipe, very similar, it just free flows. But when the narrowing comes, it's difficult to get through, and that's what increases and the heart has to work harder. So that's what we call high blood pressure. So just decreasing by 5 points, and I'll say for points for this, you have a 14% fewer deaths from stroke, just with 5 points of your systolic pressure. If you reduce it by 9%, you have fewer deaths from heart disease. And if you reduce by 7%, or 7% of the deaths overall can be averted. It's just by the way we exercise, eat, and take care of ourselves. So remember that systolic pressure, because I'm going to tell you, that was a revelation to me. I've always thought that bottom number was more important. So this slide here I want you to pay attention to. This is men and women, okay? And if you notice, and this is, there we go. See how here, the men are higher. Here, 20 to 34, they're higher, 35 to 44, they're higher, 45 to 44, they're higher. And then we kind of end up the same at 55 to 64. But look at women as we start to get older. We have a greater risk for heart disease as we start to get older, and we outweigh the men. Now here, this is no secret, African Americans right there are higher than anyone else. we really have to understand and how important it is to maintain heart health and keeping our blood pressure. These are the counties for strokes. And if you notice the southern end, and the darker are the areas, we'll go back, the darker are the areas that have a higher mortality rate, and that's the rate of death. And so this is important that we understand how this works. And you see, how many, do you guys know these counties in here, these southern end? Yeah, these were new to me and I'm understanding them. But yes, this is the mortality rate for stroke. And then I see Lynn had some pictures or the acronym over there. How many know for stroke what the symptoms are? Can someone tell me what they are? Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And I'm going to tell you, this is really important. 3 weeks before 3 weeks ago, my brother went to see her, and my mom is fine. My mom has congestive heart failure secondary to chemo. She had breast cancer, had chemo, and it destroyed her heart muscles. And she's, eats healthy and takes care of herself. So we thought she was doing pretty good. She's following her medicine. And she said she was putting a light up and she fell and she didn't think to call us. So my brother kept calling and calling because we take turns calling and making sure she's okay. She lives by herself. And when he went to the house, he was struggling like this. And he knew, because we are very active in, keeping education and understanding. 3 weeks ago, my mom actually had a stroke. And she had classic symptoms. She had the face drooping on one side. It's usually unilateral. She had trouble raising that left arm, and her speech was incomprehensible. We could not understand her. And time is important, so my brother called me. I was in Springfield, couldn't get a flight out, and I just lost it, jumped in a car. We rented a car, and we drove back. Time is of the essence when this happens. Don't speculate, don't think twice about it. You really need to make it back that way, to an emergency room, somewhere where someone can get you some help, because time is of the essence. And I do want to say the testimony in this situation is she has no residual effects. The doctors kept coming in and saying, we don't know what happened. How could she, the next day she was fine, and not completely fine, but I mean, she didn't have any of that residual effects. And so we know God is a healer. We could not believe it. So adults with high blood pressure. Now look how much that has changed in your area down here. This is something. We really have to, as a state health department, we really have to do some cardiovascular and heart health. I think we have 2 programs, but I don't know that it comes back down this far. And so we really, and I know the local health departments are doing an excellent job, but we just want to make sure that we have an understanding so that we can start working on the percent of adults with high blood pressure. So healthcare professionals. The fact is, a lack of physicians' adherence to hypertension treatment guidelines is a significant reason how many patients do not have the condition under control. So sometimes you'll find, and I mean no disrespect to anyone that's a physician, but I'm a provider and I'm a nurse that's been around a long time. A lot of times in poorer communities, you have a different type of providers in the area. And so, again, not all of them, but I'm just telling you what I've seen in my 25 years. If they don't know and understand the current health guidelines and how to work especially with a certain population, because African Americans, their biology is different, and you have to understand best practice and how to treat these patients. So specialists and primary care providers disagree on the who's going to be responsible. So you can have a person, and I know my grandmother was good for, she'll go to this doctor, and then she'll go to that doctor. Now you got 2 or 3 people on a case, one giving medication, the other one doesn't know what the other one's giving. That's a mix for catastrophe. Don't skip doctors. If you're gonna have one, you work with that doctor, but don't start jumping over, because when we realized, my grandmother, she was, and I mean no disrespect, there's a lot of older people, but my grandmother was a pistol. And I went by to see her before she passed, and she said, "Ooh, I'm so tired," and she looked so exhausted. I said, "Grandma, what's wrong?" And she said, "Girl, I'm peeing like a racehorse." We didn't understand it, but what happened was, she had one doctor giving her Lasix and another one giving her furosemide. In her mind, there were two different meds. They're the same medication. So she was dehydrated. And you can't skip. Don't start mixing it. So healthcare providers are not taking blood pressure readings when a patient comes in into account when adjusting their treatments. So if you have high blood pressure and you're taking your blood pressure at home and you're trying to keep up with it, do a journal. Bring that journal to the office. Make sure, obviously, that the apparatus that you're using, that monitor, is right, but they have to see, because I could eat a bag of Funyuns and my blood pressure would go up. I could explain that. If I journal it, I understand. Like Grandma had fat back in her greens, and we used to try to sneak it, but she paid somebody from the corner store to bring it to her. What you gonna do? But that's when I knew when her legs and things start swelling up and her blood pressure. So journal so that you have an idea. There are certain things. It could be undue stress in your life. Something can happen to help elevate your blood pressure. Healthcare providers not providing patients with consistent follow-up between visits. There's no reason that if you have problems with your blood pressure that you couldn't have a nurse visit, that they can come in and take your blood pressure. But we have to be savvy and smart and know ourselves enough and know what we can get out of the healthcare system. Otherwise, don't expect other people to do it for you. And don't let mother, grandmother go to the doctor without you or someone being there to advocate. I'm just telling you, as somebody that's been in healthcare way into 30 years, what I've seen is when we were on the floor as a nurse, you'd say, "Oh, make sure you check Miss Johnson because her daughter is tripped out. She is always in here." Those patients, I'm sorry, it just seems like they got a different standard of care because you knew family were watching and observing. So support your family. So patients not adhering to lifestyle. Now, I know this is really hard. Half of the people who try to change a negative health behavior relapse. So I give up fries for 2 weeks, and then you're back at it again. Just, you have to keep going at it. Know that it's not gonna happen overnight. And all these people that do these wild diets and go on these diets and lose, they go back and they gain more because it hasn't been a lifestyle change. Hypertension patients are overwhelmed by complex. So now you're overwhelmed because now everybody cooking with dash and no seasoning. Nobody wants to eat in the house with you. We go to my mother's house for Thanksgiving. Oh my God. She made macaroni and cheese with wheat noodles, and we were just like, my kids who don't have health issues were like, "Grandma." She made greens with kale, but actually everything was really good. But it's a lifestyle change that everybody has to gotta get with in the house. So you can't be having one thing and then cooking everybody else. Try to make it palatable and tasteful, and we'll have, I'm sure the chef will be able to get that. And most can't feel hypertensive symptoms. So we had a lady at the hospital. Now, I'm borderline hypertensive. Obviously, when I drop weight, it goes back down, so I have to be consistent. But this person, she asked us, "Oh, just take my blood pressure because I haven't taken it for a while." No problems, no headache. Her blood pressure was 180 over 110. No symptoms. Keep up with your blood pressure. If my blood pressure goes over 80, my bottom number, I automatically get a headache. She has no, those are the ones that are dangerous. She just said, "Oh, just take it," but she had no symptoms. But patients do feel the side effects of their medications or negative emotions that come with undesirable lifestyle changes. and common misconceptions that life changes are enough to help control hypertension and that medication is not needed. So if you feel a little better, you stop taking your, as the kids say, grandma says pressure, not pressure up. You stop taking your medicine because you think you feel better. And that is a no-no. And for young men, that some of the medications, and I think there's a pharmacist here, she might be able to help. I know that there is changes in the medications because a lot of young men who were having strokes couldn't figure out what, you're on your medication, you're taking it. Well, it messed with their sexual activity, so they stopped taking it. They were trying to get busy and they wasn't going with that medication. So they stopped taking it. Patients need investment partners. They need personal relationships to influence behavior. 43% of the people say friends and family have the most impact. If we work and we don't make people feel bad. Now, when we say we want a personal impact, we don't want somebody saying, I know you ain't getting ready to eat those fries, girl. Don't nobody want to eat with nobody like that. I mean, that's so hard. Everything you put in your, girl, you know that's got so many calories. Woo, girl. That's not how you do it. You have to encourage people. You don't make them feel bad about what it is that they're going to eat. So positive feelings can affect adult health behavior. Introducing positive reinforcement and upbeat. You know, you say things positive. Maybe for me, even there's certain people that I go out with. If I want to get down, I don't go out with the other ones. There are certain people that you know, but then when you do go out with those people, they do encourage you to eat better. I like salads more now. I do eat better. I had to get to that point. But do a little bit at a time. Don't try to do it all at one time because you won't get it done. But I'm telling you, them naysayers, oh, girl, do you know how many calories in that? It's so hard to eat like that. So social influence and aspiration among the top motivators of health behavior changes. Helping people understand. So we had a chef, and Chef E, I'm believing, are you Chef E? Oh, not yet. Okay, so we had a chef that came out, and it was really interesting that he shared, and I'm hoping that we can get some of that knowledge. I always, after I eat, my husband and I said, oh, I want something sweet. I couldn't think, every time you eat, afterwards you just want something sweet. So this, and I think that's most of us. So this chef said, throw some cranberries and some things on top of your salad, and I can promise you, he was not joking. If I have cranberries on top of my salad or something sweet, I do not crave sweets. So he said it's a matter of understanding how to make diets. So he creamed like navy beans, because he's Steve Harvey's chef, and he's actually speaking at a conference that I'm having, and I'll give you guys the information we're having in December. But he like creamed the beans, and you know how you like that milk, like a thick broth for your soup, some of them? He used navy beans to do it. I think part of the issue is we just don't know how to prepare really healthy. If we could, we would. But a lot of us only know what our mother taught us, what our grandmother taught us, and we just have to get a little bit more reinforcement because I think we all want to do what's right. So this is just a summary of insight of what we talked about, pretty much what we went over thus far. Some of the guidelines, and I want to be clear before I have to stop, stricter guideline calls for the resting blood pressure reading to be 120/80. Anything higher, and we'll go over this, a resting blood pressure 140/90 is higher, is defined as high blood pressure. And I'm gonna tell you, these guidelines changed. They didn't used to be this strict and this rigid, and what they found is by changing these guidelines to accommodate so that if you have years of that kind of a high blood pressure, it affects our kidneys. So how many of you know somebody that's a dialysis patient? I can't tell you how many dialysis patients I know that are African American. We've blown our kidneys away. A reading above 115/75 is the level which your risk of cardiovascular complications start to increase. Pre-hypertensive blood pressure increases with risk of stroke, heart attack, heart failure, and kidney disease. So 100, above 128 is a warning zone, and it just didn't used to be that strict. So for a person over 50, this is what was new, and I was just telling Miss Lynn, for blood pressure for someone that's 50, over the systolic, which is the top number, that's the most important number. And remember, we talked about that earlier. This is more important than the bottom number, which is your diastolic, as a cardiovascular disease risk factor. And again, these are the ones that we're talking about. Those blood pressures that are higher are the ones that we're watching. So for a normal, 120 and under, and for the bottom number, 80 and under. So back in the day when I was first in nursing, these numbers were a little bit different, but they're much more conservative now to capture and get you well in health to either lose weight or to start bringing it down with some diuretics to help with having you not have that sustainability of that high blood pressure on those kidneys. And so they're much more conservative. And so you'll find when the doctor sees you, he can say that you're prehypertensive and then start working with getting diet and exercise. And even, remember we talked about those 5 points. Even just having those 5 points makes a difference. So again, prehypertensive blood pressure may be possible to change with lifestyle changes. Even exercising, getting the elasticity of those arteries moving and being expanding more. High blood pressure treatment guidelines recommend starting with a diuretic. So some of you will be on like a mild diuretic. And a lot of people, I know my grandmother and my aunt wouldn't take it because they'd be like, well, we going on a trip. I can't stop at every station to use the bathroom. So they don't take their diuretics like they're supposed to because it made them go too often. But it's helping you. You just have to work your health around it and make sure. 2/3 of those that have high blood pressure do not have it well controlled. You don't want to play around with it. There was a Framingham study done, and it indicated that systolic blood pressure is better predictor of heart attack and stroke. So we really, especially as African American women who have a great deal of stress, it's not just our nutrition, it's not just what we eat. We have a lot of stress. And there has been multiple studies that have noted that increased stress related to racism and other factors impact us, because a lot of us, and I want to talk about that too, because as the first Black deputy director, it is challenging. It is very challenging. And I see what Mark is speaking. I'm sorry, Mark, I missed you. So Mark is going to help us with some of the psychosocial and helping us understand. But I believe that we let God take care of those that are not doing right, because you will be so stressed out and you will miss such opportunities if you just get, I know people that are so angry, they just angry because they angry. They don't even know why. It is frustrating. And that is so terrible. I'm just mad because I'm mad. I mean, oh my God. It's so depressing. But that's so stressful, and it just weighs on you, and it does send your blood pressure up. You're just mad because you're mad. We got to get out of that. And if somebody does something to you, sometimes you take a deep breath. I've seen people that have done things to me, and they've had to come back and say, I'm sorry. Now, I know it's hard because I have had to tolerate things like you wouldn't believe over my course of the years. And I remember asking God, why do I have to be the one to say I'm sorry? Why do I have to be the one to be the bigger person? But I've learned and expanded. He did it, so why would I think that I would get anything less? So I've learned that. So diabetes, high blood pressure and diabetes increases your risk for developing high blood pressure. So if you're diabetic, keep your blood sugars in place. Keep your, and how many know what's the test that kind of goes over the 3 months to see what your blood pressure, does anybody, not blood pressure, but diabetes. Does anybody have diabetes? Ooh, y'all so smart. Absolutely. It's important because that's the determining factor of how you've managed your diabetes over a period. High blood pressure with diabetes especially affects the eyes and kidney disease. You don't want, listen, I got family members who have glaucoma and eye diseases. You do not want to have partial vision if you don't have to. It's totally preventable. If you can go and have your eyes and your kidneys examined, you would want to. Dialysis is a serious lifestyle adjustment. It is not something that if you don't have to that you want. It's serious. 60% of diabetics have high blood pressure. So now they're contending with blood pressure medication and they're contending with diabetic insulin. It's a lot. It's a lot. It takes a lot. So if we can prevent it, and I'm talking to myself too, if we can prevent that, we don't want all of those dual medications. And for a person diagnosed with diabetes, their blood pressure should not go anywhere near above 130 and 80. Because again, we're messing with those kidneys and we're trying really not to do that. So the benefits of lowering your blood pressure are looking at reducing the risk of stroke incidents, myocardial infarction, which is we call an MI, and heart failure. And if any of these things happen, there are medications when you go to the emergency room that happen immediately. And we want to make sure. And those that have people in your homes that are older, learn CPR, because there are studies that are showing quality of doing CPR, not just doing it just because, oh, I seen this on TV. You really have to have a quality way of doing CPR. So the American Heart Association is the largest, and I don't work for them, I just used part of theirs because I knew. But the American Heart Association is the largest voluntary health organization working to create healthy communities through heart-healthy food choices, regular exercise, and wellness programs. But I want to say what's most important is I can say all of this in theory, but sometimes there might not be a place for you to walk. There might not be a walking trail. It might be an unsafe environment where you're at. You might not have streets that you can walk on. And so all of those things have to be addressed as we start to get a better understanding of how to impact this, because we can sit here from the health department and even from President Obama's area and say all of these things you need, but if there's no healthy grocery store in your area for you to get fresh fruits and vegetables, it's ridiculous. There's no way. And why is it that when you want to eat healthy, it costs more? See, I don't understand that. It's ridiculous. You're trying to do right, but then it costs so much more money. So I don't understand that. So when we look at the prevalence for cardiovascular health factors in adults, you look at that, 76.8 is because of a healthy diet. We've got to do something about these food deserts and get you fresh fruit. Not the corner liquor store that have a couple pieces of fruit in there. That is not gonna work. That is not gonna work. So you can look and see that physical activity, but healthy diet was the biggest indicator. This next slide particularly saddens me because this is children. This is ridiculous. The red is in the middle, the 92.9 is children. But you know why that is? I'm old school. My children weren't eating at McDonald's and Burger King's. I cooked. And you don't have to be rich to make some beans. And then what is this with kids now? I don't eat that. We have to eat what was ever on our plate. We didn't have that choice. My mother told us she is not a restaurant. That wasn't gonna happen. These kids nowadays will tell you what they, no, you eat what I tell you to eat, period. This is insane, because what's happening is our children are really marching on to death because of that obesity. It affects their heart, it affects their cholesterol. They don't have a chance. They don't have a chance. And older women, the Bible in Titus talks about, we need to give and help our younger women. We need to reach back to them. And that's why Lynn having this about our story is everything. You need to tell them, girl, you need to cook for your kids. You don't go to McDonald's and Burger King's. That's insane, because this is a tragedy. This is truly sad. So what is ideal cardiovascular health? It's the absence of disease. I don't have diabetes. I don't have any cardiovascular, my blood pressure is okay. It's favorable levels of health factors and favorable health behaviors. So maybe I do have a sugary drink, but I drink 8 ounces of water after that. Just keep trying. Don't say, I just can't do this and just give up. Keep trying. If you're gonna have a hamburger, then have a salad too. But keep working toward getting, and pretty soon those things will start coming out. Now I gave up pop, and I'm okay with that now. I thought I was gonna die, seriously, because I like my Coke, but I gave it up. I gave up all the sugary drinks, and I'm mad water now. I actually like water. I'm shocked, but I do. I gave up all the orange juice drinking during the kids' gift. I don't have breakfast. I said, well, I'll just drink orange juice. That's sugar too. So we gave up that, and I feel much better. Ideal health behaviors metrics is non-smoking. If you smoke, and you're over 35, and smoking period, but you increase your risk so much. I'm a nurse practitioner, and we won't even give, unless they've changed now. I was family planning years ago, but we wouldn't even give pills to women who smoked after 35 because you increase your risk for a multitude of things. Healthy weight. Now, we're not telling everybody to go around and look like a bone, because I'm sorry. We're a different kind of woman. I know I'd probably be in trouble for that, but healthy. Just being healthy. Healthy eating, teaching your children healthy eating. If you're gonna throw something in a bag, maybe throw them some fruit. Help them understand. My son is 20 and was the biggest junk eater, and I take responsibility for that. But we kept teaching him and we kept modeling. And now he is eating fruit. He blowing my mind, because this boy would eat chicken nuggets and pizza every day if he could for lunch and dinner. But now he recognizes it. Because we embarrass him so. I told you, you eating that? We just kind of look, but we have our salad and we look over there, and his brothers and sisters do the same thing. He's eating so much better. So you want to keep your cholesterol, your blood pressure, and keep your blood sugars in order. How many know for the blood sugar, what's the new guidelines now? What should your fasting blood sugar be? Someone said 100 and... Absolutely, but actually it's under 100 and under, because it used to be that it was like 125. I mean, it was a little higher. Now, yeah, it's dropped, and so you want to make sure that it's fasting, that you haven't ate anything, but you want to make sure that your doctor is doing that at least once a year if you are overweight or if you have a family history. And here's, I put a plug in here. The Obamacare was something that was meant to help those that were underinsured, underserved, who didn't have the ability to have these conversations. And so with you now being able to have health insurance, there are so many things that are tailored and fit for women. I'm excited about it. I know everybody is talking about it, but I am very excited about it, because women have, after we're a certain age and we get to menopause, we increase our risk for a lot of these things that we're talking about. So being able to go to the doctor, having them have conversation, having them counsel on you about food and health is extremely helpful, because we need to. He said, okay, I'm getting the sign. Okay, so I'm gonna skip on the healthy eating. I'm gonna skip on the healthy eating so that you have the opportunity to ask questions. Now, remember, I'm not a cardiovascular physician. I'm a nurse, but I'll do the best I can. Okay, so does anyone have any questions at all? Does this all make sense? Okay, then I can keep going. Okay, so guidelines for healthy eating. Make sure you're getting proper servings, 4.5 cups of daily fruits and vegetables. And that don't mean the canned fruit with all that sugar. It means fresh fruit if we can find it around here. Eat at least 3 1-ounce servings of fiber-rich whole grains per day. And fiber is really good because it's bulk, it goes in and it helps clean. It's really a good source of a diet for health. Eat at least 2 3.5 servings of fish per week. It don't mean fried catfish. I'm with you. I know everybody like, yeah, okay. Be conscious of your sodium. And I'm gonna tell you, you really do have to be conscious of the salt. I just didn't realize how much salt was in everything that I ate. So even adding salt to something, we have to find alternative ways to cook, and I'm hoping the chef will give us that, like adding lemon, and because Miss Dash don't do it for me. There's other ways, onions and bell peppers and all of those things help really make food taste better. I'm telling you, I think it's just because we just don't know how to cook to that extent. We really don't have to have all that Lowry seasoning salt. So limit your sugar-sweetened beverage consumption, no more than 450 calories. You'd be surprised that taking that out of your diet. And for those that are copying this, I'll give this to Miss Land. It's not copyrighted or anything. I'd be glad to share it. But those sugary drinks, yeah, not really good. And what happened to eating beans? I mean, do we still eat peas and beans? I mean, those legumes are good. Or a pot of greens. Even the pot liquor is good for us. It really is. So the CDC says, a report noted a majority of Americans have high blood pressure or are at risk for developing it. So they talk about the salt shaker. If you can just start with giving up the salt shaker. I know people that I've sat down to eat with who put salt on it before they even taste it. Who does that? You didn't even taste it. You don't even know if it needed salt. They're just used to doing it. Choose fresh, frozen, or canned food items without added salt. Select nuts or seeds, dried beans, peas, and lentils. Limit salty snacks like pretzels and chips. Avoid salt and canned foods. And learn spices. That's what we have got to learn, how to add those spices. And add fresh lemon juice to our fish and vegetables. It is so good. And specify how you want your food prepared when dining out. You might say, don't put, I don't want this on this, or I don't want that. You can ask for that. And they're used to it now. And then do not use a salt shaker. Like I'm telling you, people just, all of this, I just look like, oh my goodness. And hot sauce is one of the highest is in salt. I'm just telling you, I had to get rid of my hot sauce. Hot sauce is high in sodium. I know I'm coming down somebody's lane. So these are the CDC identified these as the 6 salty food, and they put this together, the 10 high sodium foods from the CDC. Now I'm gonna tell you, that pizza is what gets me in trouble. We've been like that since I was a kid. That is the worst. You probably wouldn't even see me if it wasn't for pizza. I'd probably be so scared. I could eat pizza every day. I know it's wrong, and so we're looking for an alternative way, and I have a chef that has helped me understand how to do that. Cold cuts, high in salt. I don't know that we realize that, because I think if I have a turkey on whole wheat, I've done good, but calorie-wise maybe, but definitely not salt. So it's just having an understanding. And who will benefit from the new sodium restrictions or recommendations? Everyone. Consuming less sodium will decrease the risk of blood pressure and will reduce the risk of developing other health conditions. And 90% of all Americans are at risk of developing high blood pressure over their lifetime. But I would say especially us of color. Especially us. Especially us. And so these are the resources if you want to go on and get handouts and look. And again, I'll send this to Ms. Lynn and she can get that to anyone that's interested. I'll also leave her my card if you want me to send stuff. And if you'd like us to, because my intention is to come back down and really try to understand down here, because we do, and the state does, a needs assessment to find out what this end of the state needs. And I felt when I started and took the job that somehow I felt we weren't down here enough, at least in my office. I really do. And I won't say I'm down here every week, but I'm saying I really do feel like I need to understand so that when we go back to the table and negotiate where the needs of this area, I believe that you have a voice and I'd like to hear. So thank you so much and have a great day.
We really appreciate Dr. Jones. Could you give her some love, please? We're going to prepare now to take a 15-minute break before our next speaker, but let me do just a couple of housekeeping announcements. On the legacy table, who's over there? Renisha, Devaney? There are red and white booklets, resource directories that we have put together. If you're in the Healthy We program, you already have a copy. Do I have Healthy We in the house today? Woo-hoo. Yes. But if anyone that would like a copy, there the directory has where farmers markets are in our community, lots of websites and information about a lot of the things that Dr. Jones spoke about. We will post the PowerPoint on the Legacy website. The Legacy website is in your conference book, but it's very easy to remember. It's Legacy, T as in Tom, D as in dog, C as in cat, very easy, .org. So within the next few weeks, we'll post that. If Mark is okay with that, Mark's will be on the website as well. Because I know when you're listening, sometimes it's difficult to take a lot of notes. So you will be able to access the PowerPoint. Miss Julia, I didn't get to acknowledge you earlier because you were out on the wellness van, but she is our nurse for the Wellness on Wheels project, which is another one of our initiatives, yes. Also in partnership with the Illinois Department of Public Health Center for Minority Health Services. Several of you wanted free screenings today, so Ms. Julia, if I could ask you during breaks, maybe a little after lunch, people that didn't get a chance to get screened, she'll be on the mobile to offer that. Thank you again to the vendors. They're going to be staying with us. Kim from Sam's Club will be here at least till 3. But please, again, make sure that you acknowledge our vendors and support them because that is, again, part of how we stay here. All right, any other questions? The photo release forms, one of the staff, one of the SEEDS team, if you raise your hand, they'll get those back from you as well. All right, thank you. Enjoy your break. I'll see you in 15 minutes for the next speaker.